is being cold a first world problem? Because if you could live in the third world and it would still be a problem there. Like if it was minus 50 degrees, it'd still be.
I'm not sure of any third world, literally third world countries where cold is that much of a problem.
Yeah, but it can't be a first world problem just because it's only first world countries that get cold. I mean, you'd still be there complaining about the cold if you were like a little naked African child with AIDS. It was a really politically sensitive statement right there.
It really was.
This is SingStar Podcast.
So okay, let me give you a tiny little bit of backstory here. I don't know if you can remember all the way to last week's episode.
No.
It was a long time ago.
It really was.
It was like a week ago. Something. The sources tell me. Anyway, at the end you mentioned Reddit, and
Oh, we love Reddit.
well, I was thinking you were saying people can get in touch via Reddit, and I was thinking this, and as you were saying it, I was thinking, well, no, they can't because not unless you tell them how to get in touch via Reddit.
Oh yeah, I just realised this.
And then I thought, well, we're kind of getting close to the end of the episode. Really, the fault lies with me, because it's an easy thing to forget to mention. But I was sat there thinking subconsciously, it's fine. We're getting close to the end of the episode. This is a point that I can bring up at the start of next week's episode. And then as I was publishing the episode a couple of hours later, I was thinking, no, that's really not fine. That's not the kind of thing you leave a week's gap in between. It is the 4th of February 2012. I'm Tim.
I'm CJ.
And
we forgot to mention what this is.
Well, I was about to. I said and you just cut me up without even just brutally.
I'm so sorry.
And this is Thanks to Podcast. There we go. That was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. It's all your fault.
So shall we have a look at what's been in the crazy news this week? That's the valid alternative to the normal news.
This is the news.
They've released more pictures of. Well, they haven't released them really. Someone's got a hold of more pictures of the Lord of the Rings Lego sets.
Oh, okay. You mentioned this last week.
Yeah. This is huge news.
Is it? Is there any more? Any? I don't know. What really can you learn from?
They've released the images of the Fellowship as well as some of the bad guys.
Oh wow! So these are literally tiny little Lego figures made up of about 4 pieces.
Well,
a centimeter in height.
Let's see. We've got Samwise Gamgee. He's obviously the legs, the body, the cape, his head, his hair piece, and that little glowy vial thingy.
Oh, okay.
Shagginess. So there's many pieces. These are incredibly complex.
Lego has definitely got more complicated since I were a lad.
It used to be blue trousers, red shirt, smiley face. Done.
Yeah. Or did you ever have those kids at school who used to give them like yellow legs and a yellow top so that they looked naked? And they thought that was cool. I never really thought anything of it at the time. But looking back on it, I feel like most of those kids are probably now sex offenders. You know what I'm saying? That's a weird thing to do as a child. It's like, oh, I'm going to make my Lego man naked. Like the boys who used to like when I was at school. I don't know if this is
from experience here.
Not me personally. I was more in the kind of killing small animals child
right,
rather than what I was about to say, which is trying to look up the skirt of Barbie dolls. What is that?
Oh dear God!
Like the girls used to bring Barbies into school, and the boys used to actually do this as though kids are weird. Kids are really perverted.
Yeah, they really are. I will mention before we go too far that the orcs that they've got, the Uruk-hai, the Moria, and they've actually got separate bodies and colours for Moria orcs and Mordor orcs. They've actually distinguished between the two.
Right. I mean, I didn't even know there was a difference.
Reaching through my screen right now and I'm slapping you.
Well, I'm sorry. They look pretty much the same.
The orcs and Gollum, they look terrifying. I'll make you put a link in the description.
Whoa. I mean, last week you were saying that Frodo was the scariest guy. Was like the villain.
Oh yeah, Frodo's terrifying in terms of, the psychological aspect. But by sheer appearance, the orcs and Gollum are the most terrifying.
So, what have they done with regards to the ring? Because, I mean,
obviously... the ring's just like, it's not a ring, it's like I would call it more of a wristwatch in terms of scale.
But they don't have fingers, so how can they wear them? Hang on.
If you've opened up the picture...
Yeah, I'm looking at the image of Gollum right now. That is not a Lego figure.
Well, the first one isn't, but if you scroll down to the actual pictures of them, then yes.
I don't see him.
With the ring ray.
I'm looking. Oh God, he looks weird, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks kind of like a piece of chewing gum, actually. That someone's pulled up under a chair, like an old piece. It's gone a bit yellow, and someone's drawn a face on it. Maybe that was their. Wow.
I'm actually really looking forward to this Lego. I think I might buy all of it and the video game, which will inevitably come out.
I can see the ring, and you're right. It's bloody hell. It's more like a belt. Outside of Lego news, as much as I love it, I was reading about a mystery outbreak at an American school this week. Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay, so there's apparently been an outbreak of Tourette's at this American school.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, go with it. Okay, so the doctors can't find a cause of it. They have no idea what's going on. But apparently 13, 15, something like girls from this school have just suddenly developed these symptoms which involve swearing randomly and violently at their teachers.
Yeah, bullshit. They're having a laugh.
You gotta think.
They're putting it on.
I mean, and apparently this is Tourette's.
Tourette's my ass.
15 girls, right, and I thought it was 15, have been struck by a mysterious Tourette's-type illness, leaving doctors baffled. 15 girls have developed the ailment over the past few months. It causes twitching and uncontrollable verbal outbursts, including swearing in some cases.
You know what? I think they're just high. I think they've gotten onto crack or something.
Doctors are saying they think it must be mass hysteria. I mean, if you get a bunch of teenage girls and put them in a room anyway, that is mass hysteria. That's. I don't think random outbursts of swearing really come into it.
Wait, these are teenagers. Random outbursts of swearing are completely normal.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we still have random outbursts of swearing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, they're not so random anymore. They're more routine, so they just sound, regular, standard conversation. Yeah. Rather than random. But I think perhaps it's difficult to judge without context, because if they're talking to these students and it's like, why haven't you done your homework this week, Jessica? And she goes, fuck you! Oh no, I'm sorry, I've got Tourette's. It's not really a valid claim to the illness, is it?
No, I'm not sure of any of the actual. I'm not sure if you can take a blood sample and look at the blood and say, oh yeah, they've got Tourette's. I don't know of anything like that.
How do you work out they've got Tourette's from their blood, CJ?
Well, you know what I mean. It's not like you can do I'm not sure if you can do a brain scan or something like that, if you can actually test for it.
No, I don't.
Other than...
Because I think it is a physical thing. I mean, I think it's like... I don't know how... I don't really know where it comes from. I think I was always under the impression... I could be really ignorant here. I was always under the impression it was more of a social disorder than a physical one.
I don't know. I'd have to do some research. Hold up. Give me a second. I'll just, pull out my vast libraries of psychology textbooks and look it up, shall I?
I'll get some... get some people together. I want you to perform a case study.
Alright, what the fuck use is a case study gonna do?
I want you to get all these people together who have Tourette's, and I want you to ask them and record their answers, and then it will be clinical truth. It will be proof.
So we're doing an introspective study.
We're doing an interview with people with Tourette's. That would make an amazing podcast.
There wouldn't be any sort of, clinical proof whatsoever.
No, but actually, okay. You want to? But on this subject, I was listening to the radio yesterday. I wasn't going to bring this up, but you've just reminded me. I was listening to the radio yesterday, and these scientists in America are now saying that sugar should be treated like alcohol and tobacco.
I think their face should be treated like.
I think their face should be treated like their ass. Yeah. Like, is there anything that we can't have and just be happy to be guilty about anymore? Not to mention, actually.
These regulations surrounding, everything just piss me off so much.
Not even that they had this amazingly valid point or new perspective. They were reusing old research and claiming that they were coming to new things. Even the place it was published didn't describe it as a valid piece of research, but as a commentary on the findings so far. It had insufficient evidence to come to any new conclusions, and they're going on the radio saying that they need to put this daily limit on how much sugar you have, and they don't actually have the figures.
Fuck is the government to tell me, or the scientists to tell me what I can put into my body or not?
Heroin.
If I want to shoot up some heroin, which I do not, it doesn't catch my fancy whatsoever.
I always had you as a pretty solid heroin addict, actually.
I don't think they should be able to, stop that per se, especially when it's something as petty as sugar.
Well, exactly. Well, actually, sugar is slang for heroin in London.
Well, of course.
Apparently,
yes.
I was always told that. I think we're not gonna have a conversation about drugs.
You walk into a dodgy, corner shop in London, and you ask for if they've got any chocolate bars, and they'll take you out back and try to sell you some weed. Everything is slang for something else.
Why would you go in a place? I mean, do you ever go into a shop and ask the shop assistant for something? You get it off the shelf, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I was just, providing a very poorly thought out example.
Well, I'm thinking if you go into the shop and take chocolate off the shelf and go up to the till and you hand it to them and they take it off you and put it under the till and bring out a bag of weed and you're like, no, I just want the chocolate. You can keep the drugs.
I just want the chocolate.
Give me my toffee crisp.
Teamstar Podcast, because a polished rock is still a rock.
It's only a matter of time before the internet jumps on this one as all up in arms and oh my god, rah, 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 rah. Mm. But a man has died after playing League of Legends for 23 hours.
This was the guy in the cafe, right?
Yes, in Taipei, in Taiwan.
And no one noticed that he died for hours and hours. But I think that's the most damning thing, not that he died playing League of Legends too long.
Which is completely irrelevant.
Because they think he had a blood clot due to the cold weather.
Yeah, he had a heart condition, a previously existing heart condition.
Yeah, so really, it's kind of by the by, but...
It's not the playing of the game that did it.
No, it was... He
could have sat still and read a book for 24 hours and the same thing would have happened.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, God, can you imagine? I don't think is it possible to read for 23 hours? I mean, I love reading, don't get me wrong, but wouldn't you fall asleep?
He did take naps, apparently.
Oh, okay. Was he doing some kind of marathon?
I don't know if it's gone into that.
Because I know he was in a cafe with a lot of other gamers. That was the thing. That was because I think that's the most damning thing. The fact he was there for hours and no one noticed he died. But apparently he went into rigor mortis, didn't he? And he didn't flop off his chair or anything. He was sitting there completely
sitting there, and or might have been napping, I think, or something.
Can you imagine the person who found him? No,
his hands were still out.
He had his hand
stretched out towards the keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, I was going to say he had his hand on the keyboard and mouse, and it's bizarre, isn't it? Really,
so it's only a matter of time before something like the Daily Mail jumps on this. Is video games kill people. Rah, 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 rah. Fox News is Liberal games made by the Democrats pushing liberal agendas and gay rights kill people or something.
Well, we do love the Daily Mail.
Oh, we do.
We do.
But it's when you look at it, it's got nothing at all to do with the game, and it's just poor journalism to put, to put so much emphasis on it.
I didn't understand. I saw the one you're talking about, and I kind of didn't get why they were even, because as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, he's died from like exhaustion or something. What an idiot! But no, as it turned out, it wasn't really to do with that at all. So I don't really understand.
No. It's just they're trying to, of course, make a mountain out of a molehill for the sake of views and whatnot.
So you mentioned the Daily Mail. I have more Daily Mail. I always come to the podcast with Daily Mail material because it's just classic. It really is. My friend sent me this article actually.
Oh, really?
And I'll tell you what the headline is, but I want to point out, and I'll explain after. I didn't see the headline at first. I saw the photograph of the person. The headline is, there'll be some angry men out there, sex addict who claims she had slept with 1,000 men, used to be a man herself. Now, apparently this is shocking. Like, the first paragraph says, a woman who has revealed blah blah blah, startling confession. When I looked at this article, I didn't read the headline. It wasn't the first thing I looked at, and I didn't look at the content. I looked at the photograph of the person, and I thought, oh, it's an article about a transvestite.
Give us a link. This sounds interesting.
I mean, I can't understand how this is a startling confession to anyone. It's clearly...
Wait, is this a woman, quote unquote, named Crystal?
Yes. Crystal Warren.
My god, how is that startling?
It's not at all, is it? I mean, she's had a sex change, but I've got to be honest.
They haven't done a good job, to be honest. It's a man.
She has just a full-on man's body. There's nothing female about it, and she has a man's face and a wig. I didn't even realise she'd had a sex change. I thought it was just a man in drag.
As much as I'm all for, that aspect of the LGBT community or whatever, and equal rights and all their stuff. I'm probably making a balls up of this, but good for them type thing. But
yeah, you're not trying to hold it against them. I'm the same.
No, I'm not trying to hold them against them. They have every right to this.
Absolutely, yeah.
She is very mannish.
If she's happy to do with what she is, it's absolutely fine. I am absolutely no one to judge her. My opinion means nothing at the end of the day. All I'm saying is, I don't understand how anyone really can have been that shocked. You don't generally see people who've had sex changes they've come out looking, amazingly different, do you? It's easier to go from a woman to a man than it is for a man to a woman. That's definitely true. Because male features are a lot more predominant than female features are. It's easier to look like a feminine guy than it is to look like a masculine woman.
Yeah.
You only have to go and go to an emo hangout and you can't tell the difference. So all the guys are girls.
1,000 men?
1,000 men, sorry. No, yeah. I mean, it would be a man as well, wouldn't it?
1,000, that's like...
To have slept with 1,000 people. And be proud.
She had the change in 2005. So it's 7 years ago.
7 years, yeah.
1,000 men, 7 years, that's one guy every,
week.
2.5 days.
Oh, wow, a lot more than... I just picked a random time period.
I think I could completely wrong.
It's more than... I reckon it's got to be more than one a week, because it's... And let's say they're different. It's a different person. I haven't even known 1,000 women. I probably haven't spoken to 1,000 women. How has she slept with 1,000 men in 7 years? And probably it's not since her operation. It's probably more recent than that, if anything. Because, I mean...
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Why? Even if you're a sex addict, why? That's not a sex addict, that's just being a whore.
No matter whether you're a man or a woman. Yeah. Come on, standards, people.
That's good.
I like the way we acknowledge we are no one to judge how anyone lives their life, and then proceed to do it anyway as though we are.
The Russians, scientists in Vostok in Russia, so I presume they're Russians, have been drilling through Antarctic ice for the past 2 decades, I think, to get to a subglacial lake, which is a lake that exists under an ice sheet.
Okay, yeah.
A liquid lake that has been.
Sorry, how long did you say they've been drilling for?
I think I could be wrong. I'm trying to find the.
That's all right. We'll take your word as golden. We don't worry about facts here. What was the number you said?
20 years.
20 years they've been drilling?
Well, yeah.
Wow. I hope that's true, because that's amazing. If it's not true, just say that it is.
It is. They knew the lake existed in the 1990s. So that was when they first discovered that the lake was there in the 90s. So they've been working to get to it for the past 20 years. This is like, whoa, because of course with that much ice on top of it, it's 13,000 feet of ice.
13,000 feet.
Of ice.
I mean, that's a pretty tall ice, man.
That's higher than some planes fly type thing.
It is. No, it is. That is higher than some planes fly. Yeah, it is.
And for that amount of ice to accumulate, it's going to take a long, long time. So this water that's not frozen, surprisingly, at the bottom of this lake could be hundreds of millions of years old, which is potentially scary because we don't know what is living in this ice.
Oh, you think
area?
Do you think anything's going to be alive down there, really?
Well, maybe.
I mean, quote. We say quote living. Obviously, there's going to be stuff alive down there.
Of course, yes.
But I mean, are you imagining we're going to?
Jim, but not we know it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Are you imagining we're going to get down there and like a lion with wings is going to jump out or something?
Well, no. I was on Reddit, as I am all the time.
You're not going to get any knowledge from there.
And someone,
all that you will get from Reddit is we're going to drill down there, and then the atheist monster is going to come out and tell us that religion is a lie. That is all the argument you'll get from Reddit about it.
Well, no. Someone mentioned it as remarkably similar to part of anime Neon Genesis
Alien Fisher is what I was thinking.
Where they drilled down into a big lake apparently, and a big monster robot thing came out of it. So I'm just going to be on my bomb shelter just in case the Japanese are right about this.
You really?
Probably not.
No, probably not.
But it could happen. We don't know what's down there. I mean, the lake itself is 2,500 feet deep.
Sorry, can you explain to me why they want to get down to this lake? I mean, what is down there that they think is worth 20 years of drilling through 13,000 feet of ice? I mean, what if they just get down...
It's a snapshot of what the world was like 13,000 feet of ice ago.
Before the last ice age, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of like, in terms of discovering potentially earlier forms of life, bacteria, that sort of thing.
So what they're saying is, before finding what the Earth was like when the last lot of humans existed and burnt lots of fossil fuels and caused climate change, which resulted in an ice age, which froze the Earth and killed off all humans, and then we came back...
They're going to get down there, right? Yeah. And they're going to be like, holy shit, this is like us as we are now, but 13,000 years ago, and holy shit...
It's going to be like a frozen kid on his Xbox with a frozen can of Pepsi next to him.
It's not an Xbox, of course. It would be like a Y box, and it's not running Windows, it's running Doors or something.
There's going to be a kid on his T-Rex box. I should probably have mentioned this before when you were talking about Lego. Did you hear about the Hobbit casting call being shut down?
The Hobbit what?
Right, so the Hobbit film is obviously still being filmed at the moment, and they had a casting call for extras, just they were looking for big men and little men and men with ugly faces and stuff like that,
Yeah.
Not to have lines, just to form crowds and
extras, like they did
the program
in the other ones, yeah. Quite a lot of famous people were extras in the Lord of the Rings movies. A lot of the guys from Games Workshop were for the Rings movies.
The guy who is the actor who played Scarcy in the original Star Trek series, his son, I believe it's his son, I'm almost certain it was his son, was in the Star Trek movie, sitting next to Simon Pegg playing Scotty in the scene where when he beams Kirk and Sulu in as they're falling through the sky. I think that's the scene.
Right.
And he beams, and his son's sitting next to him. I just thought that was quite cool. Anyway, basically they had so many people turn up. They had 3,000 people turn up as extras. And by that point, they go to the entrance of the camp or wherever it is that they've got them. And they find that the queues are backing up onto the motorway and are blocking off all the traffic on the motorway.
Shit.
Because, and it's just bumper to bumper, they can't move anymore. And you've actually got like a queue of stationary traffic on the motorway for the casting call of The Hobbit. And they had to cancel it and turn them all away.
Oh, that's... Wow.
I mean, it's understandable, but can you imagine being one of those people?
Yeah. I mean, if you were just, like, one car behind where they said, okay, you lot go home, we'll just process this lot, I'd be like, dude, I wanted to be a fucking Hobbit.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where they're coming from, because I think the logistics of it are just impossible. They, obviously they knew how many people they had, because they're saying 3,000, but I think it just got to a point where it was like, we need to just cancel this right now and shut it down. I just feel sorry for the people, like...
Yeah, it's obviously a big thing for New Zealand now, filming it in New Zealand. I mean, this is like...
I didn't even realise...
a big New Zealand film.
I didn't realise there were 3,000 people in New Zealand. I thought it was like 25 or something. But
I think there's something like 4 million, which is like the population of
Manchester.
Half of London.
Yeah, basically. How many people is it in the UK? Like
40 billion?
I don't think it's 40 billion.
I'll look it up on Wikipedia.
I thought it was 6.
New Zealand has population of 4.5 million.
Oh, I knew there was a 6 in there. Apparently it's 60.
The United Kingdom has a population of
62 million.
62 million.
Is 6 billion the population of the world by any chance?
It's closer to 7 billion now.
Yeah, but I think, I don't know why, 6 billion people from the UK. As soon as I said that, I was thinking, no.
Yeah.
I read, you know the book, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close? If you don't, there's a film that's just come out of it, and is apparently atrocious, but the book's very good. I read in the book, anyway, that more people are alive now than have died in the history of the world.
Apparently so, yes.
I can't get my head around how that is even possible. And if that's true...
Exponential growth, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but that's exponential growth at an insanely ludicrous rate. And if that's the case, then we're
screwed. You forget that thanks to, the rise of Catholicism in the Middle Ages, people were having like 25 children.
Surely that would have the opposite effects. If people are having less children now...
I don't know exactly, okay? No one's recorded population growth over the past... No one has a complete family tree of the human race, so we can't see...
I mean, why don't we just get a family tree from the New Testament of the Bible? They trace it... Actually, it's the Old Testament, isn't it? They trace it, back to Adam and Eve. We've got a valid population of the world right there.
Shut up.
It's like
stop.
It's like 160 people.
So you've got me interested in The Hobbit now, and it seems like half this episode has been talking about The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at people who were almost gonna be Bilbo Baggins, and we've got Martin Freeman. He was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He was also Sherlock. He was in The Office, apparently.
Oh, he was, yeah. I can't remember anything else he's done, but he is good. He's a good actor. But
then I'm looking at one of the other actors, and it's James McAvoy, Professor X from the new X-Men movie.
He played the faun in Narnia.
Oh, right, yeah, well, I think he would have been much better, to be honest.
What, as Bilbo?
Bilbo.
You gotta wait until you see it.
Yeah, of course.
Who's he playing, anyway?
Who? James McAvoy?
Yeah, James McAvoy.
He's not playing anyone in The Hobbit, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry, he was being considered for the...
He was being considered. Of course, on that list is Tobey Maguire. That would have been terrible.
Did he actually apply for that role, or is that like...
I don't know if he actually applied. Apparently, he was under consideration. That would have been terrible.
That would have been
atrocious.
I mean, Tobey Maguire is not a bad actor.
Yes, he is.
Oh, he's not.
He is.
Do you think?
He is a bad actor, yes. It would have got to the bit. He would have got to the bit in. It's not Fangorn. It's Mirkwood. It would have gone to the bit in Mirkwood where they're in the Palace of the Elves or whatever, and all captured. And if Tobey Maguire would be there, it would have, instead of Bilbo getting the dwarves into the barrels and whatnot, Tobey Maguire would be like, I hate my life. Cut hair, dress in black.
Tobey Maguire would have been, I shoot my spider webs at you.
It would have been. David Tennant was also considered then. No.
Oh no. I mean, I love David Tennant. I think I love him in a primal way. I would marry him, but I can't imagine him being Bilbo Baggins.
No, that wouldn't have worked. I will say that the guy who's playing Smaug has got the best name ever.
What's he called?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, him.
He plays Sherlock Holmes in the new Sherlock Holmes series.
Yeah, I didn't know that's who was playing him, though. Yeah, he does have a pretty cool name. I always think it's
Cumberbatch.
If you could change your name to anything, what would it be?
A surname or a whole name?
If you could take a whole new name.
Sir Humphrey Wilberforce.
That's not bad. That's
pretty awesome. It's just right.
Yeah. I think I'd take the name of my car.
Oh, God.
You remember the name of my car?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You've got to recite it. I basically named my car after what I wish I was born. Lord Horatio Marmaduke de Montfort Schofield Esquire Lucan de Maurice Statstone Reuben Leoncourt. The thing is, you don't get better names than that. That's a pretty full-on name.
It's just awesome. Horatio is an awesome name.
It is an awesome name. Reuben's an awesome name as well. It sounds solid. It sounds like you're quite Jewish. People have developed a folding car. Like, you drive in it normally, and then you park it up, and it somehow folds the back half of the car from, like, behind the front driver's seat under the car, so it takes up half the amount of space.
Okay, then.
I mean, I don't really know what to say about it. That's it. I just hope it's not made of cardboard.
That wouldn't work very well. It doesn't have the structural integrity.
I know. I think some of the cars. I was setting that up for you. I was thinking you were going to come out with a comment like, well, if they let them make a Prius, hey! You didn't. You just let that one.
Zing!
You let that one slip you by. And not often I set these things up for you.
You've got me talking about the Lord of the Rings, and I noticed Stephen Fry's going to be in it.
You're just obsessed with Lord of the Rings now. You need to detox.
I want to recreate the bit where Shelob stabs Frodo in the heart.
Let's do it, and you can be Frodo.
No, in Lego, you twit.
No, let's recreate. Let's LARP it.
Oh God! Oh no!
Let's get some costumes together and we'll LARP the shit out of that scene.
I'd rather kill myself.
You can visit our website at www.thinkstuffpodcast.com.
You can Twitter bleep us. Yes.
You can what?
Twitter bleep. It's a term that I've decided to use from now on for Facebook. I've been using it occasionally previously.
It's like an interrobang, a cross between an exclamation mark and a question mark.
Whoa, I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's like a question mark and then an exclamation mark line over the question bit and then the same dot shared. And it's an interrobang.
That's awesome. I'm going to use that. You can Facebook us at facebook.com/thinkstuffpodcast.
You can Twitter bleep us at twitter.com/thinkstuffpod.
You can Google Plus us. The link is on our website because we can't be bothered telling you it.
I did actually make a short link for it, but I don't remember what it is. It's something like my.googleplus /thinkstuffpod or something, but I can't remember. So.
It's plus.google.com/110873447.
Let's not do this. Let's not do this.
762142614/posts.
I hate you so much. You can contact us. Email at thinkstuffpodcast.com. You can also sponsor shows, buy podcast merchandise on the website. You can also find links to find us on both iTunes and Stitcher Radio. We want reviews and stuff. We want ratings. Maybe not reviews. Maybe that's too much to ask. If you listen to the show and you listen on iTunes and you haven't already rated us, please do go and do it. I don't think we actually have that many listeners on iTunes, to be honest, because I was looking at the stats, and we do tend to get a lot more traffic through Stitcher than iTunes. So, I think that is partly what it's about. And people do rate us and stuff on Stitcher, whereas they don't on iTunes. So,
bleh.
Nah. It's just Apple, isn't it? You know what I found out today? iTunes, and actually most Apple products, don't have any kind of online support. Like, not it's like if you have a problem with something, there isn't any support technician you can talk to. There's no system in place to do that.
Yeah.
Which I think is ridiculous, because it's such a large... Like, I was having a problem with iTunes submitting a feed for the podcast and stuff, and basically it was done wrongly, and there was no way I could change it because it's out of my control, and I couldn't correspond with them because they had the wrong email address. So I thought I need to find, a support technician and speak to them and see if I can get them to change the email to get it working. There is no one you can speak to. There is nothing you can
pretty
do.
shit.
So you go through the FAQ and it tries to point you towards all the articles they've already written. None of them were valid. And then it was like, okay, tell us what your problem is. And I thought, okay, maybe I'll get somewhere now. I type it in, and it just searches it and connects it to the nearest article I've already been through and just points me back there. I'm like, I was like, no, I'm having a problem submitting this feed. And it says, have you plugged your device into iTunes? And I'm like, well, that's nothing to do with it. Shit. I hate you, Apple.
We will have a Reddit link eventually if I can figure out actually how to make a subreddit.
You can have it sorted for next week. I'm gonna
I'll get it sorted.
Leave you sorting out the bloody subreddit.
Okay.
Alright, catch you in a bit. I mean, no, not you personally. See you next week.